Do you want to get your bag up in Roblox Fish and you're tired of being a broke boy and you're trying to see some big money numbers like this? Well, don't worry, man. I got you, okay? So actually doing some of these methods, I was actually able to make 600,000 cash in 5 hours. In about a whole 24 hours, I could be seeing around 2.8 to 3 million cash inside of Roblox Fish. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the best ways from going beginner to end game and making some good cash through your journey on Roblox Fish. All right, so first things first, when you first start out the game, you want to go ahead and just get a little bit of money. You only need about 2,000 cash, so just start using your flimsy rod, fishing around the basic area right here, and get some cash. Now, once you have at least 2,000 cash, you can come up here and you could go ahead and grab yourself the carbon rod. Now, I actually personally went with the lucky rod when I first started the game, but most people recommend the carbon rod because it's all around the best fishing rod you can get at the start of the game. Makes catching fish a little bit easier. Now, it's really up to you, but yeah, if you want to go with the lucky rod, you could do that as well, but we're going to be using the carbon rod for this. The other thing is you can actually currently get some free rods in the advent calendar. So if you are signing in every day as a beginning player, you can get the North Star rod in about 9 days of the advent calendar, or you could pay 150 Robux to just skip the whole thing and start with the North Star rod. And I recommend using this over the carbon rod because as you can see here, the carbon rod compared to the North Star rod has a little bit more lure speed. It has better luck. It has only 0.1 less control, but it has 2% better resilience, and it has a better max weight. Now, once you have yourself a carbon rod, we're going to head out from the spawn area and become big boys and start traveling the world. And we're going to go ahead and head over to Forsaken Shores as our first destination. Now, this is a money-making guide, so our goal here is to make you as much money as you possibly can make, so then you can get the better rods and then complete your bestiary later. So right now, we're focusing on the money. Pretty much money equals better rods, and better rods equals eventually 100% completing your bestiary. All right, so once we're at Forsaken Shores, we can go ahead and right behind the merchant, we can go ahead and head up this trail right here. And with our carbon rod trusty on our side, we can start fishing in this pond. Now, this pond, personally, I didn't fish in it that long during my gameplay, but from what I've seen, a lot of people recommend fishing in here. It's recommended to use the carbon rod and to fish in here because not only can you get the captain's goldfish, but there's actually some other really good fish inside of here that can make you some pretty good money. There we go. We just got a Hex Corsair grouper. Okay, we got a Mosaic Scurvy Sailfish. So yeah, we're getting some pretty good stuff, and we're also getting some pretty good XP as well. And we got another Scurvy Sailfish. All right, so with those 3 fish, let's go ahead and just sell. And we already made 401 cash, which is not too bad. And that was only 3 fish, which is under like 2 minutes of catching. And that's a lot of cash to start out with in this game because at the start, the rods aren't that expensive. So, I mean, sitting there, if we just made 400 cash in 2 minutes, that means within about an hour, you'll make about 12,000 cash. And that's not even including the fact that you can get Captain's Goldfish, which will make you even more money. Once you grind the pond a little bit, hopefully you will have some enchant relics. If not, you can kind of fish in the ocean and see if your luck's a little bit better getting some enchant relics. Or once you hit level 30, you can go to Sunstone Island and talk to Melvin and he'll sell you enchant relics. But take your enchant relics to the Statue of Sovereignty, and we're gonna go ahead and head down the elevator. Now, this might be a big chunk of change, but we can pretty much pay for this with what we just made. This is about 400 to go down the elevator, but down here is the actual enchant altar. Now, I highly recommend to collect some enchant relics and then come down here. I actually have a couple in my inventory, and we'll see if we can actually get lucky. And we're gonna enchant our carbon rod. Now, you can get some pretty cool stuff, but what we're looking for here is the Blessed Enchant. If you can get some enchant relics and eventually get the Blessed Enchant on your carbon rod, the beginning grind will be a lot faster. Now, the Blessed Enchant might be kind of difficult to get, which we actually just got it there on our second enchant relic, which is pretty crazy. Now, what the Blessed Enchant actually does is it gives us a 2% chance of an increase to get shiny and sparklings. And shiny and sparklings actually make quite a bit of money, especially early game. All right, so let's go ahead and head back up here. And now that we have our blessed carbon rod, we might have a little bit better luck and we might be able to grind and get some better cash in here. So let's go ahead and just fish in here for a little bit and see what happens. Oh, and there we go. We just got the captain's goldfish. Let's see if we can actually catch it, though. He's a little fast guy, but we have some good resilience on this rod. And if that is our 10th one, then, I mean, that was... Yeah, that was pretty quick. That's actually crazy. And we got it sparkling. Wow. And I'm going to go ahead and sell my inventory now with all these guys. And bam, look at that increase, man. 4,500 cash. 4 minutes of time. So if I do 4 minutes divided by an hour with what, 4,200, that'll get you 63,000 cash within an hour. But even if you can't get the blessed, the captain's goldfish will make you some pretty crazy money. After you grind for a little bit on Forsaken Shores with the carbon rod, once you get enough money, you're gonna want at least 55,000 cash. So we're gonna go ahead and head into the mid-game rods now. Now these are gonna be the rods that are going to start making you some even more bag. Now we're either going to want to get the Midas rod or we're going to go ahead and want to get the Phoenix rod. Now, ow, I just hit that. Now, personally, I recommend getting the Midas rod, but to get the Midas rod, we do need a traveling merchant, which I don't know if one spawned in right now, so I'm kind of impatient. And if you're impatient too, then you might not like waiting around to get the Midas rod. But the Midas rod does cost 55,000. The Phoenix rod is close in stats, but it costs 40,000. Now to get the Phoenix rod, we're gonna want to head over to Ancient Isle like I just did. And once you escape all the pain in the water that's trying to kill you, you want to find the cave that the Phoenix rod is in. Right down the hill here, there's this cave, and this is where you can buy the totems for the eclipse. And you can also collect the earth fragment. I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one of those. And here it is, the Phoenix rod for 40,000. This thing has 55% lure speed, 30% luck, 0.2% control. The resilience is a little low. The weight is a lot better. And this thing will give you the Scorch mutation on any of the fish that you catch. That gives the fish that you sell a 1.3 times sell multiplier. Now, the go-to spot on Ancient Isle, once you have some money, once you got your rod here, is down here, actually, by the waterfall. But again, just remember, this thing, it doesn't have as good resilience as the carbon rod, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult if you have been using the carbon rod up to this point. Its resilience, negative 10%, which means the fish are going to go a little bit more wild while you're trying to catch them. There we go. We got a Scorched Piranha. And this waterfall is just overall really good. You can catch some really big fish in here. Now, with the Phoenix rod, I don't know how big a fish you're going to catch, but you will get some pretty good stuff and make some pretty good money. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just catch a couple of fish with just a basic Phoenix rod. No enchants right here. Another Scorched Sea Bass. Ooh, we got a pretty big guy there. All right, so we have a few. Let's go ahead and sell and see how much we make. We only made 499. However, that's just because we've been getting the smaller fish, but I do recommend going here because once you start getting some of those big fish, you will make some way more money. All right, and then what we could actually go ahead and do with the Phoenix rod as well to help us a little bit with some of the fish we're about to catch in here, the big guys, the big guys, is we can head back out to the Statue of Sovereignty and then put another enchant on this guy like we did with the carbon rod. But with the Phoenix rod, we want to try to get resilient on it because this thing has negative 10% resilience on it. So if we do get the resilient enchant, this thing will be a lot better because it can actually catch the more difficult fish. And over time, this will definitely help you with your grinding. Steady is also a good option too. So you really can keep your eyes open for this one and do what you want. All right, well, we did not get resilient. Now, again, the alternative to getting the Phoenix rod, if you have a little bit more patience and you want to make a little bit more money, you can always wait around for the traveling merchant to show up and get the Midas rod. It's pretty much almost the exact same thing as the Phoenix rod. And again, with the Midas rod, I do recommend putting resilience on that as well. And then again, if you do get the Midas rod, you'll probably make a little bit more money than the Phoenix rod. But I recommend using either of them, going to that waterfall and fishing, and you'll eventually get quite a bit of money. Both of them will give you some really good passive mutations and will both boost your money quite a bit. The traveling merchant is here. Let's see what he's got. So yeah, currently he's not selling the Midas rod, which is the other one we were looking for the mid-game rods that you can use instead of the Phoenix rod, but he is selling the mythical rod, which is going into our next topic. So this is actually perfect timing. So you can actually buy the mythical rod from the traveling merchant. And what the mythical rod does is it gives you a 30% chance to get the mythical mutation on any fish. Now there's a huge debate to either get the mythical rod, the Trident rod, or the King's rod when you enter late game. Now personally, I highly recommend if you want to make money, go for the mythical rod. Its resilience is at 0%, so it's not like it has horrible resilience. The control is at 0.05. It's already got pretty good luck, so you're adding on to it with divine. And the lure speed isn't really that much to worry about at the moment for this one, because this one you're going to be making money a lot faster. So what I did to make a lot of money with the mythical rod is now I'm actually back here on Ancient Isle, and what I did is I either went back to that waterfall that I was just fishing at, or my little spot was right here. by this big flower. And I just kind of chilled here and I fished whatever I could. And now this does have a quite long shake pattern that you have to click through, but in this area, you can get some really good fish. And even if you don't get really good fish, the mythical enchantment is actually really insane. This thing actually makes it really easy to get mythical mutations on fish. Way easier than it is to get the scorched fish with the phoenix rod, or to get the blessed fish with the blessed enchant on the carbon rod. And I kind of just chilled here, and even if I got some pretty bad fish like the sardines, anything really becomes mythical, because the chances with the mythical rod making something have a mythical mutation is pretty high, and no matter what, you'll usually be getting a mythical fish. And here we go, look at this. We just got a big guy here, and you can actually see he does have a mythical enchant on him because he's pretty sparkly, shiny in the water. So let's go ahead and fish him up. Now, this thing doesn't have great resilience. It's at 0%, but as you can see there, we still caught the shark. And if we go ahead and sell those 3 fish we just caught, we already made 12K. If you just chill here at the Ancient Isle, you will catch a lot of those sharks, and most of them will be the mythical mutation on them because of this rod. And I mean, if we made 12K within 2 minutes, then you can make about 360,000 cash within an hour. Now, I currently just entered the end game inside of Roblox Fisch. As you can see here, I have the Rod of the Depths, but I don't have any of the craftable rods or any of the other end game rods. But I will say, so far, the Rods of the Depths has made me a lot of money. Now, what I've been doing with the Rod of the Depths is I actually been, again, just fishing here at Ancient Isle. Ancient Isle is just a really good spot for fish at the moment. It might not be for long because we're going to have some new islands eventually. Now, with the Rod of the Depths, I recommend getting the Abyssal enchant on it. And just like the mythical rod, you actually fish up fish with the abyssal mutation instead of the mythical mutation, which the abyssal mutation gives you a pretty big money boost as well, just like the mythical does, just like the blessed does, and just like the scorch does with the phoenix rod. And once you start fishing up abyssal mutated fish, you'll start making money like nothing. Now, at the start of the video, you saw me sell all those fish, and I made almost 600,000 cash. And this is how I did it. I just fished in this spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fish right here for about 10 minutes and see what kind of fish I can get and see how much money I make with the abyssal Rod of the Depths. And let's see how many abyssal fish we can catch and how much money we can make within about 10 minutes of time. Woo, that was a big guy. All right, so we've been fishing for about 10 minutes now, and let's actually see how much money we make from this. 14,000 cash. That is actually pretty good. We definitely could have made more if we got some better lucky fish. So that can lead to around 84,000 cash an hour. Now, this could probably go up to about at least 120,000 cash per hour. But in this case, let's go ahead and times that by 24, and we still will make about 2 million. Now, I'm sure you guys will have different methods, so comment down below what you suggest to do. And also drop a like on the video, subscribe for some more fish videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.